My name is Taylor Self, and I program Sentinel training. I don't delegate, I don't farm it out. I write the workouts, I do the workouts. I use my 7 years of experience coaching in an affiliate, along with my deep and ever-growing understanding of the methodology, to put together an always challenging and rewarding, often humbling program to make you better. I want to help people and nothing else. Help people move better, train better, compete better, live better. Legacy comes later. Live now. Live better. Train Sentinel.
Hello. It's fucking freezing. I'd say are you in your gym? You must be absolutely Baltic.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad. I'm just finished coaching, so I'm not too bad, but it is absolutely Baltic.
I was going
to come on just like the young guys like this.
Oh yeah. I feel like a dick wearing a hat, but man, it's so cold.
That's so cool.
I have a heater. So I apologize to the guy who sold me the heater that I have, because I was going to say when I built this, I didn't build shit. But when this room was built, I said, "Oh, I'm probably going to need heat." So I got like an electric heater. And when I went to the place to buy it, the guy was like, "Oh, it's like €190." Which is like what, $200 for this heater. And I was like, okay. And he was like, what size is the room? And I told him, he's like, yeah, you probably need 2 of them. I was like, fuck off. I'm not spending 400 quid on heaters. I was like, it's fine. I was wrong. Like, it's ridiculous. It says 30 degrees, which is 70 something Fahrenheit. And I can see the little mirage of heat coming off it, like the heat waves or whatever. No difference between me
and
going
nowhere else.
No, it's literally just going straight up above it and then disappearing into the ether or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think I might need to change something.
I got one of them in the garage one time as well. It's just no good at all. They're no good at all.
Yeah, I didn't trust the experts. You're right, Augustus. And yeah, and I'm not going to add one to it either. Fuck it. It's a 3 months a year problem, and the rest will be fine. Yeah. I have this nice little Vindicate hat. You know, to what's the website? Vindicate.com. You can buy that. How are you, Michael?
I'm good, yeah, really good. Not too bad. Freezing, old, and everything else, but I'm good.
How is fame treating you?
Yeah, it's my wee girl actually loves it more than me. She's like thinks she's famous now, so she like watched it. It must be 20 times last night, and she came in. She's just left the gym. Funny, we just done classes. And she's away with her friend to leave her home, and she was like telling everybody I'm famous now. So, yeah, the fame, as you know, from a small town like Limavady, as you know yourself, Peter, it's not something that comes to me naturally. So, yeah, it's very different. My phone just lit up with on Instagram and everything else. So, I kind of knew obviously it was coming out because they were videoing over in America. I didn't know when, but no, it was really well put together, and I'm like happy with it. But I was definitely seeing your phone, like all the notifications, and I'm not one as well. If I have a notification on my phone, I have to get it away. So yeah, it was very different.
So this is CrossFit put this out today, this morning, no, yesterday, last night. I guess you saw it this morning when you woke up. So they recorded.
Yeah, so it would probably been about 4:30 yesterday.
Oh, okay. So you were at the Masters Games last summer. And they recorded this with you there. These bits, like the bits to camera. And then did someone come over, or was there someone local, or what?
Yeah, so basically what happened was when I reached Alabama, the guy, Joe, that runs it, he messaged me to say, look, I'm looking for a chat with you. I was actually with Amanda Cummins at the time, and we were just about to go into the gym. Before the competition starts, I need to have a chat with you. And I was like, oh my goodness. What the hell have I done here? Like, something must be wrong. Amanda's like, I'm sure it's okay. Like, just as the way it is, because I would not be expecting anything like this. So I said, yeah, no problem. You want to meet up? And then he gave me a phone call, and he basically just said that, like, obviously I own an affiliate. And I've been doing Legends now. The first Legends I done was in 2021. Obviously the Legends is who runs the Masters CrossFit Games now. So I've been doing it in 2021. And then I had done it previously just that year or the year before in Arizona. And he just says, look, because you've been supporting the competition for so long, you're here now, you own an affiliate. Obviously, everything that's happened with the games just prior to that as well, they kind of wanted to put out a story just of like somebody owns an affiliate going to the CrossFit Games as a master and just kind of what that's like and things like that. So we just put your name forward because I'm traveling so far as well. So that was pretty cool, like when he said that, and obviously take the opportunity. So it was really, really unexpected, and literally that was the Wednesday, and the games was on the Friday, and we were checking in on the Thursday, so it was like literally last minute. I had no idea.
It's really cool. It's really well put together. Did they send someone over then, or did someone local do the Limavady stuff?
So yeah, a guy came from Wales. So Tyson Aldroyd and Mariah Moore, they done this stuff over in America. They were there, and then a guy came. I can't remember his
Sean
name.
Ellison?
Oh,
Was it Sean? No.
I think that's the guy I put me in contact with. It was another guy came over.
Okay.
I don't think it was a Sean. I think Sean was the guy that contacted me to say he was sending one of his guys.
Oh, okay.
So it was another guy came. Something tells me his name was Darren. I can't remember.
Wow, Sean has guys now. That's cool.
So he came here then.
And then it looks,
I know.
because all the footage is great, but even like the gym looks amazing. You must be proud of how good it looks and how full it looks and how like professional it looks. Like it must be cool seeing it on screen as your gym, like as your affiliate.
That's to be honest, that's the hardest thing. I never sit down and think of that. People ask me that all the time. Like you've some setup and you never ever think. You always look everywhere else and think, oh, that's class. I wish I had that. You never look at yourself and think, oh, that's great. Even now, I don't take it in probably, because again, like every day you're just thinking about, right, I need to do this and I have to do that, and but again, when you sit back and look at it, it is great, but you're always thinking ahead. You're always trying to think like what I have to do next and stuff like that. So. But yeah, no, it is cool, and how it looked on the video was really cool as well. Just seeing everybody there and stuff, and that's what it's all about for me as well. Is like the people in here make that happen, because I couldn't do it on my own.
Ross Coughlin, does that sound right? That's the guy that came over.
Yes, that's the guy.
There you go.
Yeah. That's the guy.
How long have you owned an affiliate? How long has CrossFit Limavady been around?
I don't know. That's me, is it?
Yeah, you froze there.
I know.
I can still hear you.
Yeah, I'm gonna move. You hear me better now?
Yeah.
I'll go closer.
So how long have you owned
it? Is that me? It's probably me, is it?
I think so.
Yeah, so opened in 2016, January 2016. I'll go that way, right? And then obviously now, so I had a business partner to start off. There's a wee filthy 150 sign in there. I had a business partner to start off in January 2016 was the first time we opened. And then obviously still going since that. I didn't get the affiliation until roughly, I think it was just around the open time, because whenever we first opened, you have to apply for the letter and you do all that stuff as well. So I couldn't call it. So my first name was Adonis Fitness.
Okay.
I couldn't call it CrossFit because I didn't have the affiliation approved. So I had to kind of wait. And then around the March time, it was like a CrossFit gym. Then from then, it's CrossFit Limavady. So 2016, they basically now.
Was CrossFit Adonis was taken, was it?
Yeah, no, I didn't go with that. I just went with CrossFit Limavady.
Yeah, I think you're better.
It's actually the same as Sousa. He has CFL. We're also CFL as well.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you can just copy any t-shirt design he brings out. You can just copy his t-shirts.
I've actually seen a few, to be fair.
So I'm looking here. So you opened in 2016. Is that what you said?
So yeah, but I opened in 2016. Yeah, first time in January 2016.
Your first open was the year before that. When did you start doing CrossFit then?
So I started in CrossFit Derry, first of all. So it's a funny story, because just before you text me, my mate texted me a old recreational gym we went to like for a boot camp. It was about 12 or 13 years ago. Just a picture of it, we were all there together, and it was just quite weird and surreal to see it just so long ago. And that's where it all started, just with a boot camp. And then that progressed into obviously I was doing CrossFit whenever I was training on my own in the gym, but you're not doing CrossFit until you go to a CrossFit gym. And I didn't really understand this at the time. And then my mate Andy and my business partner then says, look, we'll go to CrossFit Derry. And I was working at the time, and I used to go every morning at 5:15 for the class in the morning, up there. And that just literally, honestly, changed my life. As you can see from now, when I stepped in those doors, that was it. It was just, I loved it from the first minute to now still.
So before that, were you doing did you know that what you were doing was basically CrossFit, or were you just doing kind of HIIT workouts and then discovered CrossFit through that, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, so Andy Chapman, my business partner, then he just came back from New Zealand, and
Okay.
the first time I met him, like I'm quite like I'm not shy. Like if he's like I was in training in the gym, for instance, and he was training, and I was just really intrigued at what he was doing, and I just went up to him. I didn't meet him ever before this, and I just said, "Oh, what are you doing?" He says, "Look, I'm doing CrossFit." I said, "Oh, great. Could I join in?" And I'll never forget it. He finished off with like a Tabata push-up, and like I'm like, I've got this. This is easy. I do push-ups like all the time. So I started off with 20. Great. First 20 seconds, like this is easy. Got to about the third 20 seconds, I was getting tight, and then by the last two, I don't think I'd done any. I was gone. And then I just again that feeling, because again coming from a soccer background, you don't like I was always loved my pre-season and trained. I never had that feeling where I couldn't really give any more. If that makes sense. So I just
Yeah.
loved that. And then me and him got friendly from there, and we went to the boot camps. He actually ran the boot camp in the leisure centre at that time. I can't really remember the year when it was. I think it might have been 2013 or 2012. And I went to it, and then we just struck up a friendship from there. Started training together, and then eventually we trained in a place called Evolve first, and then we went to the CrossFit gym. But I say, whenever we were training at the time, we were doing CrossFit, yes, but like literally doing what we liked and not really what we had to do. Like I didn't have a barbell in my hand until I went to CrossFit Derry, but I still thought I was doing CrossFit all the time.
And when did you want to open your own place then? Was that like a kind of things just started to fall into place, or was it like when you were in Derry, you're like, I want to do this?
So, Peter, I'd love to tell you that I had a plan, and my wife's watching this at home now, and she'll be like, "This man is like, I'm probably the most easygoing person there is." We trained in CrossFit Derry in 2015. We started, and like me and Andy loved it, and he was talking to me. He's like, "Oh, it'd be great to have CrossFit and all that. I can't believe it's not here." And it was November 2015. And we were just talking about it. I remember we had a big green, I think it was green or orange, bit of paper, and we're just writing stuff down in his house. I said, just open one in January. He's like, we need to do this. I said, let's do it. And we just agreed that night. We started off with one rower. We says in November, we'll open up in 2016 in the January. We went and looked at a place that next week, took a place, done. That was it. Literally, like that was the only time I thought about doing it. Like obviously, whenever I started training, I worked in a call center before this, and I was actually, so I wasn't taking calls, but I was training people to take calls, so like training for the job. So you can it's kind of like facilitating. So what I do now is like coaching people. It's kind of similar because I'm coaching people into how to do the job. I had done the job before, so I knew how to do it, and I was basically coaching them on how to do it. So that kind of stood to me. So like back then, even I used to go away to like Cardiff, and I had to like open these call centers, and I would have done wee boot camps with the people that I knew there because I love my training. I trained every morning still when I was away, and they were like intrigued at what I'd done. And I said, come with me and I'll put the class up and get you along. And I would have done it with them and things like that. So I did have a passion for it. I never still thought at that time I wanted to open a gym. It was just, I had kids, I had to go to my work, get my wages. I never even thought you could get wages through this sort of stuff. Honestly, it wasn't even on my radar at all. I was still playing football at the time. But that all changed, and obviously that conversation in November was just like, well, let's do it. And then, yeah, we're here. It's crazy.
What age? Hang on, I have a lot of questions there. So what was the call center? What was the calls for? What was it? Was it like cold calling, like selling stuff, or what was it?
No. So it was for Sky TV.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So trying to
I loved it.
trying to dupe fuckers like me into keeping their account going for another 12 months.
Well, actually quite funny, right? So we were in Sky TV Tech, it was called. So basically anybody with a TV problem would have phoned in, and because the TV wasn't working, and we fixed the problem. But like, I was like, even then it was always like how it was nearly like how could I win? So like how I got off the calls, I think taking calls for like 2 or 3 months and became a trainer. Because what would happen was back then you used to get deals and stuff, right? So if you phoned me with the Skybox, I could give you a new Skybox with an extra Skybox in your bedroom for half the price you're paying, because there was the deal at the time. And nobody in my team kind of knew this was happening, but I just was always before the shift playing about with like the deals and stuff, because if I done that, I got more money.
Yeah.
So like I used to make like an extra £200 a month on like upgrades, it was called. So then I was flagged to my manager and stuff because I was good at the job and doing all this stuff. It looked good in him, it looked good in me, and then that then went up higher, and then I got opportunity then to get off the phones to become a trainer. That's kind of how it worked. So yeah, that's kind of how that worked, and it was.
Was that like is that like a pensionable job? Is that like, how secure is that job?
No, it's not like a government job. Wouldn't it be like, for instance, it's gone now. First Source is only gone, but it's only just gone there. Like, I think it's this year or this last 2024, late 24. They've all took the call centers away from. They were in Derry, so they're away from there now,
Okay.
and I think they're overseas and stuff. But I was there for a good. Before obviously, I must have been there from 2008, so I was there a long time. So it could have been there the guts of like 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Were you happy doing it? Like,
Peter, honestly, people hate call centers. I absolutely loved it. Honestly, like, I worked in construction before this, and it was kind of 2008. It was 2008 because that was the time. Remember the crash?
yeah.
And man, I remember traveling the whole of Ireland doing jobs. Like, and I remember, I'll never forget it. My oldest son, Callum, is now 19 in March, and I was working on my own doing dry lining, and I had done a big job. Biggest job me and my mate ever had at the time, and I just had a bad feeling. I was like, this doesn't feel good. It was a big church, and we couldn't get any money. We kept doing the work, and he says, "Oh, I'll get you at the end of the month. Get you in the month." So we got the church finished, and I'll never forget it. I was in just till they just had the Callum, and I sent, because this guy was the boss as well. I said, "Look, I'll not be in for a couple of days, but Gaza, my mate's there doing the work. He'll get caught up in everything it is, but just had a baby boy," and he texted me back, "Good job. You'll not be receiving any money for that last job you done." And that was literally, honestly, 12 weeks of work. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do here? So like I went from that to
what's dry lining? Is that like before
plasterboard, and
plastering,
and
okay,
you'll you'll see it a lot in America and stuff, like, it's like Americanized over here now, like the timber frame houses and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay. And he was like, "Hey, congrats on your first kid." No
didn't even
money
say
coming.
congratulations. I've plenty of names I would love to use now, but I won't. But he didn't even say congratulations. It was just, honestly, it was the most, like, you're there top of the world, and it's just like, oh shit, like, what am I going to tell Tilly? This is like 12 weeks of work. I was out all the materials, and oh my days. So yeah, so I went from
That's
that basically
crazy.
to sitting in a call center in the heat, getting paid every week, talking to people on the phone. Honestly, like, people used to complain,
I
and I
guess
used to
as
watch
well,
football TV.
the change is as well, I suppose, you're going from a job where it sounds like you were kind of subcontracted to do stuff. So you're going from that where, you're probably thinking, you and your mate are probably thinking, shit, we're going to have to stay till 9 tonight to finish this because we've got other things starting tomorrow,
literally.
and blah, blah. You're trying to catch up. Whereas the call center is
Literally.
like, you're in at 9, you finish at 4 or whatever it is. And it's like, if you're on a call, it's your decision whether you continue the call past your time is finished, or you can just go, all right, I'm out, and just hang up and leave. Like
It's literally, back then, like, probably shouldn't say some of these things now, but I can't get sacked, I suppose. But back then, it's not as bad as what it would be now. When I say bad, I don't mean it's bad. It's like when I work at 9, that means you're in your phone at 9 o'clock. So your phone will be showing up they'll know you're online. It's like clocking in, and you can't do anything about the calls. They just come in, they come in. But back then, there was ways around it. Things that you could do, they kind of skirt the line. And because obviously I was doing really well at my job, like, see, on a Sunday, I had it work well with my manager on a Sunday. The football was on, and I didn't have to log into my phone. I literally watched football with my headset on all day because I was doing so well during the week. He gave me that time. So there was ways you could log out of your phone so nobody could trace what you were doing. There was also other ways as well. So like, but again, like, I went from, we'll talk about security, like, literally, as you say, I could be not knowing where I'm getting the next job from, to like, I'm working Monday to whenever it was, 5 days a week. I get paid this much. If I do more, I get more money. I'm in the heat, and like, it was, honestly, I loved it. And like, I'll give you an example. I remember speaking to an old woman. She was down south as well. She phoned up to say, "Son, my skybox is not working." I said, "Oh, what's wrong with it?" She says, "The red light's on, but it's not doing anything. But it keeps changing color whenever I press the button." I said, "Right." So it's working, obviously. So we talked there for about 5 minutes, and the problem was our TV wasn't switched on. Like, as simple as that. Like, it's so funny, right? And then, so I fixed the problem, and she says, "Son, can you see me through that red light in the skybox?"
fucking hell. And then
So you have
she
me,
hangs up the
honestly.
phone. She hangs up the phone, having bought 3 more Skyboxes, a new TV.
Exactly. I made her day.
So then, what age was your son? Was what, like 8 then when that finished up? When you opened the gym, around
Yeah.
8, 9?
So yeah, he would have been. So he was born in 2006. Yeah. So around that 8, 9, and obviously Bobby came along in 2008, and then Aaliyah was in 2013. She was the late one. She was like the sort of, oh, how'd that happen? Yeah. So
The surprise blessing, and the other two. So you had 2 kids. You had 2 kids already, and you
yeah.
had a secure job, and you had a wife. And then what was the reaction to? Oh, me and my friend decided we're going to open a gym in January, and we're going to look at a place next week. Like, what was that? Was that can't have been a calm period of time?
So like at the start, I was still working. I didn't quit my job. You see, in the January, it was honestly, I don't know how. In the name of God, I done it. Like so. We opened in the January, but all that time getting the place ready and everything else, the building and stuff, I was working as well. I was working, so because I was training, I was working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, every day. I was coaching in the morning at 6. Well, before we opened, obviously I was getting paint and stuff done, but come the January, we were coaching in the morning, 6 o'clock. We'd have been away then working 9 to 5. We'd have back in the evening for about 5:30, 6 o'clock, coaching 3 to 9. We done that Monday to Friday. We done classes on a Saturday. I think we done classes on a Sunday as well, and we done that for like 3 months. It was, I have no idea how, honestly, I don't, crazy.
Yeah, I think
But like,
most affiliates seem to have that same story, and it seems to come down to just like the passion for it, that you're able to just keep going and keep going and keep going until eventually you get to a point where you're like, oh, I can quit my job. And then you get to a point where you're like, oh, I can hire someone else to do some classes and I don't have to do them all, or I don't have to cclean the toilets anymore, or whatever it is. Like you can, take
like
a few
for
bits
me,
off the plate.
Going back to when I was working, even Tilly, like if I'd have said to Tilly, like, this is what Tilly's been since the very start, like unbelievable. She's great. Like, as you say, like behind everybody good, there's always a good woman there, or man, in which case it doesn't matter. But you know what I mean? She's like everything we've ever decided to do. Like my headspace with everything, she would be more like worry about stuff. Not that I don't worry about stuff, but I'm like, my whole thing when I started the gym was like, what's the worst can happen? Even when I went full time, I'll get a job. If I have to go back and work in a shop, like it's the same thing when people come into the gym. My ethos is leave your ego at the door. Like if this doesn't work out, leave my ego at the door, go get a job. Like I have to keep bringing money in and stuff. That's just the way it is. And like don't get me wrong, I would hate that to happen, but you just got to look at it that way. And that's the way I looked at it from the start. And I wouldn't be ashamed to do anything like to bring in money if I had to. That's just the way it is.
Anything.
Well, I think
where's what's the population in Limay Valley like? Like how big is it? Is it like a big town? Is it a big population?
No, it's not really. Like I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head. It's a small town, like right up at the top of Ireland. And like I enjoyed you saying about that's what you do. Then it works out so well. You employ somebody to clean the toilets. You employ staff. I don't really even do that. My mum cleans the toilets. I clean the floor after every shift. And then the coaches in here are all bred through like CrossFit Limay Valley. They coach. They join as members first, and then they go on and do their L1 and stuff like that. But like Limay Valley is a really, really small area. Like.
How many members do you have?
Probably in CrossFit, you're talking between a 100 and 110. And then I do like a functional fitness every day. But then what I've done, just going with the times, I was doing functional fitness for years, like a boot camp. And it's just a high rocks class now. So like it's just, as you know, it's the in thing to do now. And
so you were running a CrossFit affiliate called CrossFit Limay Valley and had people coming in to do a functional fitness class in a CrossFit gym. And is that because they were afraid to do CrossFit or what?
Peter, honestly, like you know yourself, Ireland's like 20 years behind as it is. Like they would not do CrossFit because they couldn't. So they done the functional fitness. But guess what I was doing in functional fitness class?
CrossFit.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's and it was great. It's just the way as well. Obviously, back then we never thought of that. We started with a boot camp first. We didn't call it because we didn't have the affiliation. We could not say CrossFit. So the boot camp was the sort of, not that we were needing the money at the time, but it was the bread. Like it was the bread earner. It was the thing that got people in the door first. We then ran through, was it 3 nights a week? Just the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I think, a weightlifting class because we couldn't call it CrossFit. But I had my weightlifting Ireland course and stuff, and that was a CrossFit class. And then once we got the affiliation, we basically just changed all the stuff up and went for it then. But we kept on the boot camp because we had people saying, "Oh, I don't want to do that," even though they were doing it anyway. But so then that sort of stays there as well. And it just gives you that where the people ask all the time. It is confusing for people as well, but for me, it's not. It's just trying to get people in the door, and they're all doing CrossFit anyway. As you know, the CrossFit is varied. There's so much under the umbrella. So.
Did you have many people that did like the functional fitness classes that would eventually be like, all right, okay, I'll go and I'll just do the CrossFit class? Or did they all, was it like two groups that never crossed?
Well, we had a few across. I've still people in it's High Rocks now, but the functional fitness that have been here probably from the start, and they're still doing that class. Again, they come in and get a sweat up. I've had a few people who've done that, went over, came back again, and I do like, it is, CrossFit's very humbling, and I have a great, like, just through the years you understand how it works, and for me it's like, I think there's people struggle with obviously some of the things that they can't do, and it's more being scared to ask for that help. They like how to do it or do the work to do it, and then some people just don't like it, which is okay also. But then it's also hard then if I'm in here and there's a guy or a woman beside me and I'm thinking, oh, I'm definitely could do what she's doing. Like I haven't been doing it long enough. She's here 6 years, I'm here for 1 day. You need to show that respect, and people do struggle with that. And then some people just want to come in and get a sweat up, not worry about any other stuff, and that's fine as well. But I do really think that it's like, it's a mindset with all of it. You know, if they're overthinking CrossFit too much, the functional fitness is there, but when they sort of dial it all back and just think about themselves to get better, like get healthier and stuff like that, then like for me, it's a no-brainer. But it's still there just for the people who don't want to do it.
When did you do your level 1 and stuff then?
So my level 1, I done that in so in November. It must have been the December.
Before the January.
Yeah. So I actually, I had no qualifications at this point. So I had to go and do a PT course. We've done one of them crash courses in a week. How I passed that, I have no idea. But I did. I done that in a week. And then I actually think, did my father lend me the money to do that? Or did I go to the credit? I can't remember. My father might have lent me the money to do that. I done that. And then I went and done the L1 then. I think it was December down in Perpetua at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, down there. Mm-hmm.
And have you done anything since? Have you just like re-upped your level 1, or have you done level 2, level 3, anything?
So I've just done my level 2, and I have to go now. I was actually thinking about this. I have to do my level 2 now this year, September time, I think it runs out. So that's 15 years. Honestly. So after the next one runs out, it'll be 15 years.
That's crazy.
I know. Crazy.
Yeah, I'm doing my level 2 in February.
I love the L1 for me. Like I've heard you talk on the podcast and all before. Honestly, like, and I know I sound probably to people who don't understand like anything about CrossFit, maybe listening to this like I'm a real CrossFit wanker as such, but it is unbelievable course. It is an unbelievable course. Like educational. I find it like for me at that time I had aspirations obviously as an athlete and stuff like that. Like, and that'll probably never go away, but whenever they start talking about the nutrition side, I was like, where have you been all my life? Like I wanted that forever. Just like how do you look good and stuff, and you know, more you could call it vanity if you want, but I used to watch Rocky growing up and like, oh, I'd love to look like him. So like no word of a lie, I would do push-ups and sit-ups in my bedroom for days after school, all the time. And I had no inkling or idea. I thought that would me, then I'd look like Rocky eventually. But like I had no idea about nutrition. And like I've had this conversation in here the whole time. I played sport like soccer locally at a high enough level, like semi-professional. And I stopped playing football at about 30, say into my 30s, 32, whatever. And I've never a coach in my whole years growing up of all the sports I've done talk to me anything about nutrition ever. And the only time one person mentioned to me anything about nutrition was Graham McFadden in CrossFit Derry in 2015. I was doing the Open. I was about to do the Open and he called me into his office. So he says, one of the coaches says, Mickey Graham wants to see you upstairs. And I was like, oh, geez, if I paid my membership or what's wrong or whatever. So he called me up. He sat me down and says, look, you're really good. You do your classes. I see you as one of the top 5 in here doing the Open. Have you had a training background? No, just your general conversations I would have with people. And I was like, no, look, I play football. And he says, look, if you went in this like head on, I think you could do well. what sort of stuff do you eat? And that was the only time in my whole life that anybody has ever mentioned nutrition. And like, obviously CrossFit's changed my life, but that conversation then just honestly changed everything.
What was your answer? What was your answer when he said, what kind of stuff are you eating?
Just like everything. Like literally, like on a Sunday, I would have had like a chipped pea and gravy and a battered sausages and, you know, stuff like that. But I would have been thinking not eating was eating well, if that makes sense. Like, honestly, it wasn't. I didn't have the idea like you eat like 3-4 meals a day and, you know, small bits. And honestly, it blew my mind. Blew my mind.
It is crazy, but there's so much to it as well. Like where things that like, just things that I don't know, like incorrectly fueling yourself, like one way or the other. So like obviously food quality comes into it, but like incorrectly fueling yourself where you're, and I don't know shit about fuck, which is pretty obvious, but like even things like not eating and feeling like you're probably eating enough during the day, but then you're not eating enough during the day, and then you just fucking ravish at nighttime, you're just starved. Or the opposite, where you think like, oh, I'm training really hard, I need to eat like A through Z, but all you really needed was A through D. And like you just thought because I was training so hard, then you're like, whoa, what the fuck is this not working? And yeah, when you go to that, the level 1, so like I did the level 1 like last year, and then in December I went up and like filmed a bit of a level 1 and sat through it again, kind of just because I was there, and it was the same. I had the same effect of like, God, I fucking love this. And I think before I did the level 1, I was like, I quite like CrossFit. Like I'm pretty interested in it. I'm really interested in the sport. I'm pretty interested in, you know, the affiliates and the gyms and stuff, and the methodology and that. And then I did the level 1 and I was like, God, I fucking love CrossFit. It just flicked a switch where I was like, God, the sport's gonna, like, people will come and go through the sport forever. But like, man, when you start thinking about the actual literature that's there, or the learnings, the potential learnings that are there, it's fucking crazy. And then again, like at that level 1 in December, Rob Lawson gave it, and he's
that's
like,
done mine too.
Yeah, he's crazy
Both
good.
mine.
But he told a story about his sister, and you can watch this video on YouTube if you search.
I remember that. He told me that one as well.
Yeah, and it was like his sister was like basically abused by her partner at the time, couldn't like stand up, walk, anything, and then he got her to stand up, like squat to a wall, because he just didn't know what else to do.
That's on YouTube, isn't
CrossFit it? Gym. Yeah, the whole video is on YouTube.
Yeah, I've watched that. I watched that.
I think Tyson that did yours, that was in charge of yours or whatever, he commissioned it as well. But it's a crazy video, a crazy story. Like if you've got like 15-20 minutes after this, anyone that wants to should go and watch it, because it's a crazy story.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Like, even just the fact that they got her back to a fairly decent level of mobility and ability and stuff, and the physios in the hospital couldn't understand. They were like, what the fuck are you doing with her, that her improvements are going up so much? And they showed them and they were like, oh fuck, we can't look at that, we can't see it, we can't hear about it. And then that's the thing that gets me, is like that approach is like, but they were basically like, keep doing what you're doing, but just don't tell us, but just keep doing it because it's working. But it's crazy, like I don't know, it's just when you really start diving into it.
Oh, like it's the same for me here. Like, and I know I go back and I talk like I'm in here to run the business. I have no idea how to run a business. Nobody ever sat me down and says this is how you do it. And I have so many, like Limavady is really small. Like people watching could look up the population. It's like tiny. But the stories alone that I have in here is unbelievable. Like, so like I'll give, like my mum, for example, right? So obviously I've opened the gym, and like my whole life growing up, my mum was sick. Like, she broke her hip. She's a bad back. She's had back operations. Couldn't leave her bed really. Couldn't tie her shoelaces. If she fell on the floor, she couldn't get up again until somebody lifted her up. Like honestly, her whole life has just been like that since I was growing up. It's not like anything wrong. It's just the way things were. And like as you say, there was nothing there really to help. Nothing. It's just go to doctors, get your medication. Right, we'll give you an operation for this, give you an operation for that. There was no. I don't want to say there's no outside the box thinking, because I don't want to like say it's like that and like CrossFit's the best thing that's going to cure your life forever. But so 2020 happens, and obviously nobody knows what the hell's going on, and nobody knows what you're going to do. And my mum was like, oh, "What am I going to do?" She's right. I'm doing a Zoom class every day. I says, "Jump on, and you can do that." Oh, I can't do that. And like, she was on her bed doing her wee thing. She couldn't sit off the bed, but she lifted her legs for a sit up. She would have lifted her legs up like that. Literally done that. Like honestly, everything was done on her bed. She'd have turned around on a burpee on the bed, like just literally, but her waist would have been up on the bed, coming down and coming up again. So she done that anyway. And now this is a woman that was never into exercise for like as long as I was growing up. Was always sick in a way of like, we call it injuries or like a bad hip, a bad back. So then obviously COVID was coming to an end. She was like, "What am I going to do now?" I says, "You're going to do exactly what you done on Zoom, but you're going to come to the gym." She's like, "Oh, I can't do that." I says, "Well, if you can't do it, you can't do it, but I know you can. Like it's the classes are there. Come to the gym every night." Since 2020, she's been here 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. She does burpees fully on the floor. She can do her own shoes. She walks about. She looks better now than she did 10 years ago. And like, if I could go back and have a video, like a Tyson runabout and doing that, I have so many stories, as all affiliates have. But again, I like the education for me around that business side just probably isn't there to do that. But I'm seeing that within, and I have loads of other stories of people as well. Just like as you say, can't do a squat. Like the one from my mum is just for me because I've witnessed that from a young age the whole way up. So like I'm seeing like exercise is like for me what I believe is probably the first point of contact. I'm not saying for everything. Obviously, if somebody's having a heart attack, you don't just tell them to go out and run a treadmill. You know what I mean? Like for me, like there's a way we could look at things. They say like, have we tried exercise? Have we tried creating blood flow? Have we tried to like move better and things like that? Like what it's done for my mum, honestly, like it's incredible. Like mental.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy.
And again, that's the same sort of story. But like I have. Like, and you've probably seen and heard loads of these stories as well through the CrossFit gyms, but I didn't video that. And imagine I had that story from the very start. And yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't that aware at the time.
Even
to do
now,
that.
man, there's a story now. You can still tell it.
Yeah.
Where are you? Up here? Okay.
Oh yeah, right up there. Because
Wow,
like as
you
you
really
say,
are at the top.
oh lad, don't start. Like so, I go to Emma's once a week, and she used to come here before the COVID times. Now nobody comes because like, over that mountain, nah. They're like it's too far
Where is
away.
She's like down
She's
here
Lisburn.
somewhere,
She's like down, yeah, like Belfast, close to Lisburn.
there,
She
yeah.
would be, yeah.
What's the
It's
population?
only an hour and 15 minutes, but like
11,000.
there you are,
11,000.
yeah.
What
Not
are you? Would you say you're Irish, Northern Irish, United Kingdom, British? What are you? What would you classify
I'm
yourself
Irish.
as?
The beauty of my sort of upbringing, like I'm Irish, but my wife's British. So like I'm a Catholic, she's a Protestant. And it's a great sort of relationship to have. So I would say I'm Irish, she says she's British, but I'm quite level-headed. I wouldn't fall out with anybody that called me British and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I'm Irish
Is
though,
it
but
is it like a dodgy area for that? Like, or is there much like, or was there
like
much
honestly,
problems around there?
for me growing up, I'm 41, and like it's good. So we're actually just back.
First question people ask on Google: look, is Liv Valley Catholic or Protestant?
Like this is the norm. Like Peter, honestly, like this is the even to this day, you'll go into certain situations in certain places, and people are asking you questions not to hear the answer, but to hear how you talk, to say the answer, and they know where you're from. It's crazy. Still goes on. But like growing up for me, and it's going back not too long. Like for instance, my father, he's a real thick Southern accent. He's from Tipperary. Okay. So like around the 12th of July for us, honestly, it was a real hassle every year. For him, we used to have the checkpoints as a family. We'd have been pulled in every checkpoint just as soon as he opened his mouth because he was Irish. This is up the north now and stuff. So I didn't have really good memories of that. But again, it doesn't affect me. Now I'm quite level-headed and get on with that. But it's a story to tell. And I'm sure on the other side, there's stories to tell for people as well. But like I would have got every year into a fight every July. Now I wouldn't have fought, but I would have got probably a kicking because I wasn't there for the 12th. I went away. That's just. But like it was my mates would have fought with me, but we were friends after. It's just yeah. So. But like not anymore now. It's kind of like for my kids now. Bobby's here training now. Like it's changed for them growing up. It's funny because our kids we put them into.
Is there any kind of division? Like, is there any kind of?
Oh, there is. Like, there still is. Like honestly.
Do natural cliques kind of like are all his friends Catholic or you know what I mean? Like, or is there that kind of divide still or not so much?
Not really. Like Not real. Like for instance, in the Gaelic clubs now up here, you'll have Protestants playing Gaelic. You never had that back in my day as much. Maybe the odd one, but now you'd have a good mix of ones praying. But like nowadays, it's not as bad. But like it's the same with every place you go in areas you're gonna go. You'll get problems and stuff. Not as much as what you would have, but you still would have the. It just takes one person, and both sides, and you could have an issue. But it's funny with the kids. Obviously, with Tilly and me being mixed, we put them into integrated school. So when our kids were growing up, right? So they went to the 12th of July and they went to St. Patrick's Day. That doesn't seem like much to people, but up here it's quite unique. So that was the whole way it was growing up. And then when my oldest boy, Callum, he went to secondary school, he was then he was a Catholic, he was a big Fenian then. He was like, this is tricolour in the room, I'm a Catholic and stuff like that. He actually... So like he never had a conversation, but he went to St. Mary's, which is a Catholic school, because we didn't have an integrated secondary school. So it's either you're going to a Protestant school or you're going to a Catholic school. So the integration was good at the start, but at the end of it, it was like you're either one of us or one of them. So like, but they're fine now. Like it's good. So like as I say, it's not. You see the kids nowadays. It's not like what it used to be. Not even in my time, it wasn't that bad. Again, you just had the odd wee thing, and I'm sure they have the odd wee thing now where they call each other names and stuff, but. I don't think it's as bad. Again, certain areas, then you'll definitely. I actually give my mother-in-law a lot of stick. She would be quite bitter now. On the other side, so I just stir the pot the odd time with Granny Libby.
Yeah.
So it's you have to do that.
Small, sly little digs. Han Solo says, "It's great. Two people I can't understand." Yeah, you can turn on subtitles. And what's the difference?
That's the biggest thing I was worried about.
Yeah, fucking hell. What's the difference between Catholic and Protestant? You just pause this, go and watch some videos and come back, because I'm not going to explain. It's just such a long...
I tell you what, did you watch that?
A historical disagreement between two of essentially the same religions that have just clashed over...
It is bonkers, isn't it?
It was basically just like a civil war, more or less, that went on for whatever, like 60 years or 70 years. But yeah.
Did you watch that thing on Prime, Disney? Or Disney, was it Disney? Did you watch that Say Nothing?
Say Nothing. No, my wife wants to watch it. I'm like, I don't know if I
can. Tell whoever that was there in the comment, just tell them to watch the first episode, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's crazy.
But you know what?
But yeah.
This is fucking accurate. Protestants keep their toasters in cupboards. So if you go into a Protestant, if you go into a Protestant's house, they'll have their toaster will be plugged out and put away into a cupboard, and they'll probably have it in a little tray to catch like crumbs.
You bring it, the crumbs
fall out, and they'll take the tray out with the toaster. Whereas like Catholics just like it's fucking toasty, just even plugged in. That's an amazing comment. Well done, Rory. That's really good. Protestant priest.
But I never grew up with any issues. Like I played soccer for like big Protestant clubs and stuff, and I was like my second name's Walsh. Obviously, it's a predominantly Irish name, and I honestly I had no issues growing up like and stuff. As in myself, I'm level-headed enough to understand that on both sides there's issues, but obviously growing up I was brought up like Irish and a Catholic and stuff like that, but I do see issues on both sides when it comes to like everything. So like it's I still stir the pot though for my side. They look good,
obviously. You're from that conversation in CrossFit Derry about taking it seriously and stuff. You obviously have taken it seriously. So you've done like like reasonably well since then, and then like very well recently, especially in Masters category and stuff. And since I've kind of been around, like following leaderboards and stuff, I've always seen your name up towards the top of like the Irish leaderboard and always there in around the mix. Is that something that you... like, as the competitive side of it, was it always competitive for you? As in, when you were doing those boot camps and stuff, was it always competitive, or did it like become that?
Yeah, like it's very, even in the boot camps and stuff, it wasn't competitive in a way. Like if I'm doing it with you, I'm trying to beat you. It was just more pushing myself to see what I was capable of. Like even when I go back, and all the people who played like soccer with me back in the day would say the same thing. Like my favorite time of the whole season was pre-season. I absolutely loved it. I used to like take initiative later on in my career, like about pre-season, take sort of control. We could do this, lads. We could do more here. Do this. Like I remember pre-seasons back in the day as well. Like you're doing 5 runs, like sprints. Like you're trying to get the same time each time, and had the guys at the back 4 runs would have been way at the back, and then won the last one. And I used to crack up and make the manager do the 5 again. Because like if they're holding back for 4, then they're no use to me. I need everybody to do same at 5. It's like the boot camps was the same. It was more like just push yourself to see what you're capable of. It was never, obviously you don't want to come last, but it was never a case of like, there's Peter, I want to beat him. I just never really had, like, obviously I do want to beat people now and stuff, but I never really coped well with anybody looking down on anybody, and I never would do that to anybody, no matter who was there. So it was more competitive against myself as such. Yes, like trying to do like physically whatever I could and push myself. Like I would never say I can't do that. I would give it a go and try it and sure, see what happens and kind of that. That's the sort of mentality I had the whole way through them. But it wasn't about beating a certain person ever at all like that.
Even now, like say last year, the year before, is it still like that, or now are you more into like, oh, here, what can that guy lift? Can I lift more than him? Am I faster than him?
It's kind of funny now because obviously whenever I hit and started to get, we'll say good, like I don't even like saying that, but when you start to get a wee bit more competitive, it's probably a better way to put it. And I turned to master. There was opportunities there to win competitions, and I've always said this, and even back before I turned master, even I used to talk about the CrossFit Games back then. Obviously now it's a different beast. Like now at the minute, honestly, the things people are doing now is just incredible. But back then, I have always said that like the programming of the CrossFit Games is the sort of thing that suits me, but the online stuff doesn't really suit me as such because it's like high power output, like 1 rep maxes, and like I'm strong, but I'm not that strong in that way. But I always thought if I could turn up to a CrossFit Games, I would be competitive because the program is going to be over those days. I'm going to have the long runs. I'm going to have the swimming. And like I can pick up all these things that I can do all these things in sport, and within that sport as well, within CrossFit. So even now, like I'll give you an example. Like Louis McMaster obviously is he's the same, like nearly we're exactly the same age, more or less. Like we're 1 month apart. We're the same age category. And do I want to beat him? 100%. Do I want him to do well? 100%. And I don't know what it is. It's like I do have pride in myself and want to win, but I understand like there's people that, and there's obviously things go on which I'll not get into, that it's been a hard sort of development thing for me this last couple of years to turn up the competitions knowing you're probably not going to win. Like the CrossFit Games for me was the pinnacle, and they wrapped my head around the fact that I wasn't going there to win that. Obviously I was turning up, I wanted to win it, but I was realistic too. I'm probably not going to win it, and that was hard mentally to deal with that because I've never had that before. Even when I went to Wadapalooza this time last year, I was going there to win that. Like Rudy Berger was there, who I had no idea. I've told you that story. Like I had no idea who this guy was. Won the games 2 years in a row, but like I just had more. Like going back to the boot camp, it's more. I wasn't turning up to beat anybody. I just believed that I have the talent to win it as such. Like I just believed that I was fit enough, and I've done so much work to do that over the years, be it going back when I was 13, 14 doing push-ups and sit-ups. I've always pushed myself as much as I can. So like no, I do have it now a bit, but I still want to see people do it. Like I wouldn't wish, I hope he falls over so I can beat him, and you know what I mean? It's just like I do want to beat people, of course.
If he fell over heading to the finish line or something, if you're then it's okay. But
I want to stop and pick him up, like, but it happened.
Yeah.
But
you mentioned Wadapalooza there. Do you think is that your best achievement, like your best athletic achievement within the sport?
Probably just for the fact that like my kids were there, my wife was there, my mum was there. And I actually was training more for Arizona in the December before, but like honestly, and again, this is nothing against the Legends Championship. The programming for me personally was just really, really disappointing. I never worked out for more than 6 or 7 minutes, and that's not a dig at them. It's just me. It's just what I thought. So like me and Emma really dialed in for Arizona. I mean, I worked with a mindset I'm going to win in Arizona. And when I turned up there and I seen the workouts, it was like I can't win this. Like for me, finishing third there was probably a bigger achievement than Wadapalooza. But on a personal level, just with the wads that were there. But then Wadapalooza kind of came around, and me and Emma spoke about Arizona being the one, and then Wadapalooza kind of being, you're there to compete, but the family's there. Like if Bobby and Aaliyah and the kids and whatever wanted to go and do this, we'll do this instead. I'll miss the gym that day or stuff. But then whenever the program had come out, it kind of looked at all the training I'd done for Arizona as perfect for what Wadapalooza was. And then the first workout was the D-balls, the running on the runner and the swimming. Me being the gack that I am and Irish, I bought my trainers out even though you were in the water and stuff, but I didn't put them on. But yeah, so I came second in that, and I didn't come out of second all weekend, and it was definitely up there with, like, even just going down to that podium. Like, again, I'm a small guy from Limavady. I've started CrossFit from playing soccer. Like, I'm nobody, and I know that, and I understand that. I own an affiliate, but I'm going out on the podium, Ricky Garrard and all these people. It is just the most. I'm going out with my wee girl. She's come beside me. Like, even, yeah, it's probably, like, it definitely is one of the highlights that I'll never forget. Like, just that feeling of being out there. And even from Madrid, you were in Madrid as well. We were there, remember, that year as a team, as the Masters. And even Noah Olsen just come over, a simple thing of giving me a high five and recognizing me from Madrid. That was just, it's like those moments that, like, you know, all the sort of stuff you've done and the training you've done, you're kind of like, oh, this is, it's finally, like, worth, not worth something, I don't mean that, but you know what I mean? You kind of feel like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, this is a quite surreal sort of moment. So it's definitely up there.
I suppose the thing is that those some people never ever get those moments, and then the people that do get them, they tend to be incredibly rare. Like, it's very rare when you're training, like, you're training alone a lot of the time, or maybe going to Emma or whatever. But, like, a lot of the stuff you do,
like, I've only started going to Emma really like once a week in the last year, so I literally alone more or less most of the time, like.
And then, like, because you're doing it on your own, you're the only one that really cares about what you eat, or you're the only one that really cares about, like, what, you know, when you train or how you train or whatever. So it's very rare that you're not going to pat yourself on the back. So it's nice that to get 2 podiums in a month or whatever, it's nice to be like, to get as you say, it's not really the reward, but it is a nice kind of nod to what you've been doing. You can say, like, oh, cool, it was worth it. Like, because I got to have the moments that most people never get, or, like, look for but never get.
That's, I remember, I'll never forget it, because so, like, the last workout, and it was the boy Bradley Alcock. He was quite close to me, and he was kind of turning things on at the end of the weekend, and I had actually hurt my hamstring.
Didn't you? Yeah. Remember you did something. Yeah.
So, like, the run was coming. I was like, right. I text Emma, there's nobody here beat me in a run. Just my soccer background. I'm that three other. I'm like, right, I'm going. There was 2K left, and literally my hamstring, something into my hamstring, and I was like, oh my days. And when I was running, I could still run okay, but I couldn't run at my pace. And I think it came third. But that last 2K, all I was thinking about, I have dumbbell snatches tomorrow, and I have devil press. And I was like, oh, I'm never going to be able to bend over. I can't do that. I'm gone. And I never really slept that night. And then I woke up, and I remember, like, I dozed off, I woke up, and then I was awake, and I was thinking, I was doing this in the bed, can I row? I was like, shit.
Like your mother doing the burpees in the bed.
Oh, honestly, I was like, what am I doing? So the next workout was like that, what do you call it? We got away with it because it was the rain, man. The athletes had to change to strict pull-ups. At the end of the way, like, you had to keep going back. It was a cardio, the one they released again. You had to keep going back through it. It was like 3 different AMRAPs. The time changed. And it was dumbbell snatches at the end. And I was that stressed about, like, don't hurt yourself. But I could do the dumbbell snatches on one side. It was fine, whatever. But the workout kind of passed me by. And I'd done it in training, and, like, far better than what I'd done there. I just never felt as if I was in control because I was that stressed thinking about it. And then there was one more workout left, and I'll never forget it. It was heavy double. It was the drag rope double unders, burpees, dumbbell thrusters. Each time you go back to drag rope, and then a finish with, like, squat thrusters at the end, like devil press squat thrusters at the end. And I remember I was just sitting in the wee warm up area, and I was like, your hamstring doesn't matter now. You have literally done this in training in 6 minutes. Just go out for 6 minutes and see what happens. And I started to beat the drag rope, but everybody was breaking the drag rope, but I found it really easy. I was like, this is sweet. So then I says, right, go slow on the burpees, done the burpees. And then we went back to drag rope, went to, I think it was 21 thrusters. It was 30, 20, and then 10 on the last bit. So it was 20 thrusters. And everybody beside me broke. And my wee girl was right in front of me in the line. And I remember sticking my tongue out and smiling at her, going unbroken, thinking, I'm going to bloody win this workout. And then I done the dry group again, and I went on the dumbbell on my own. And you know yourself, it was like burpees, like devil press, squat, thrusters. You can't really move any faster than them, really.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it was 3 or 4 reps ahead. I knew I'd won. And then that was it. I was like, oh my days. So I didn't want to work out all weekend, and I won the last one. And it was just that whole, probably just, and then like when I was leaving, I was texting Adrian back here about the gym. And he actually texted me back, would you fuck off? You're about to put him at Wadapalooza. So yeah, it was just like, honestly, I probably couldn't write, I could write it better and win. But like sitting second, I'll definitely take it.
What do you think about the changes and stuff? So last year the Masters were kind of set off on their own thing. You were there obviously,
Like
and then this year they're kind of
stuff, yeah.
they're going in with the teenagers
Teenagers.
going off that post from the other day. Are you like? Do you think that's better, worse, same, no different?
For me, I kind of like it because there was a guy there, Nick Aranger. We kind of great friends over like we were there, Arizona. Was he Wadapalooza? Yeah, Wadapalooza as well. And then obviously the games. His wee girl was competing in the games as a teenager, and he was at the games with
Wow.
me. I just couldn't imagine. Oh, like that's, and we were before the last event. We were lying watching it. It's actually up. He had a video on the YouTube as well. You can go back and watch it. We were watching his wee girl doing the last workout she was doing before we went on, and so like for them, like if you think about it at my age, like my Bobby's coming through now, and I'm hoping he can make a push now this year as well. Like God willing, he will and do well and stuff.
He was close last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so like, and look, Peter, it's 1% now. You just don't know. It depends on the program and stuff like that. But he's working hard, and like he'll give it a good go. And like I couldn't imagine, like imagine last year my first time making it, he made it. What the hell? Like 2 different places in America, and it's like. So I think for that reason, like a lot of people my age will have kids that age.
Yeah.
So like again, it's like it's going to be more eyes on as well. There's going to be more people there. So I think it's okay, to be honest. I think it's fine. But again, if I had to put my competitor's hat on, and I do this a lot, and I hate that I do this, it's just the program. And then I would think about if there's more people, it's going to be not well-rounded. And it's not a dig at anybody again, but if you have a lot of people there, you have to get so many waves through. You're not going to have a 30 to 40 minute workout, which is good for me. But again, that's just where my head goes. If I look at the games that were passed as well, like the program was good. Again, you can look at it and say whatever, but I just think like when I look at the CrossFit Games and when you go there, I do think you should be doing a 30 to 40 minute workout, depending on what that is. That could be anything, but I do think you have to go long. I just think you have to have everything varied. So when I put my competitor's hat on, that's the only thing, more like the J.R. Howland, the Taylor Self sort of stuff they can talk about. But like, I don't like putting that hat because it's negative. But as a spectacle for more eyes on and for like the teenagers to be there with the Masters, it'll probably help them as well. Just more people around and stuff like that. So I think it'll be pretty cool, to be honest.
Would you classify your gym as being successful?
Yeah, I hope so. It's I suppose we all strive for success.
What are your markers like? What are you looking at and saying, yeah, okay, it is?
Honestly, like that's what I'm saying. Like if there's one thing I could do, it would be good. It'd be getting better business, because like nobody ever sat me. Like I started in November 2015. I opened a gym in January 2016, and it's been, my life has been CrossFit Limavady ever since. 7 days a week. Even when you go away, it's great having the coach here to help, but you're never away. You don't switch off. Every day it's just, so like, is it a success? Of course. I started off with one rower, and now like I have all the equipment and stuff like that, but there's always things you can do better, and you always want more members and things like that. But yeah, I do think it's a success. I don't know what, like, as I say, I don't sit down and put, that's what I'm saying, I don't sit down and put down what's good markers and things like that for the future and stuff like that. It's just basically my main focus every day is the people that come through the door, and just trying to make sure they leave happy and things like that. That's kind of what I try and focus on. And for me, in a small town, that means they're going to talk to people. And then obviously the worst side of that is if they don't like it, they're also going to talk to people. But I mean, hopefully the positives outweigh the negatives.
Yeah, I think you probably would have been closed by now if that was the case, if people were going home and saying that.
And like you don't help everybody, or people don't like you as well, and things happen, like people fall out as well and stuff. And yeah, we just try and stay true to what you've done from the very start, and that's all I've ever tried to do.
Would you ever open one somewhere else? Like, would you ever open a second one?
I did think about it back before COVID. There used to be a guy who coached here back in the day. Niall Cook, he helped me out at the start, like unbelievably. And I would love to have opened one further afield, but it'd be hard, man. It would be really hard. And in the back of my head now, it's like, what's that going to take away from here? You know, like I have coaches that help out, but I have a coach done Monday morning at 6. I done the rest of Monday. I done all day today. I have a coach tomorrow doing tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening. I'm doing tomorrow at 10. Then I'm going to go to Emma's, and then I'm here doing Thursday. I'm doing Friday. I have a coach doing Friday morning. I'll do Friday morning the rest of it, and then Friday evening, Saturday morning I'll do Sunday. So like, if you take me away from that, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Is that, have you got the opportunity to coach less? Is it that you want to coach that much?
Yeah,
like,
like
do you ever see yourself stepping
like
away from it and just saying, I'm just going to own the gym and not actually coach there?
No. Like,
yeah.
For me, I just don't know if that's going to work in a small place like this, like Limavady. We're so backward here, as you know. Like, when I go to America and I got like, you go into a gym, it's like, yeah, it's $75. The first thing is just like, not all gyms, but most of them is like money. It's like you pay, and that's fine. That's fine. Like, that's not a bad thing, but it's business first. Whereas over here, it's probably not the same. Like, for me, anyway, and that's where I have to learn and do better. But like, if I take myself, like, starting back in 2016, me and Andy done all the classes, and the thing that you realize from the very start, especially from doing that people are coming here for, like, obviously the gym, but they're coming here for me as well. Like, if I'm not here all the time, then not that I don't trust the other coaches to do well, I think they will, but well, like they have their own jobs and things going on as well, and yeah, I don't know. I couldn't see myself. I'm not that type of person to sort of stand back, and it's the same in the training and stuff. Like with Bobby coming through now, like, it's good to be able to show him, like, if you do the stuff as well, that things can happen and stuff. I just wouldn't be one to sit back and let other people do the work as such. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. Well, someone mentioned earlier on, we were talking about, I think we were talking about like passion or something. Kevin said, Suze was just talking about in his show. Yeah, I think if there's anybody that's interested in affiliate, running an affiliate, managing an affiliate, like opening an affiliate, just keep an eye on Suze's show on Savannah's channel.
I always
like,
mean to watch. Tuesday. I watch all Savannah's show, but I can't catch them live. You know, the times and stuff, and I would love to just have a wee, like, even a wee back and forward, because I think I could learn so much from that side, and that's one thing, honestly, I'd love to do better at.
Well, like, I've had conversations with Sousa and genuinely given consideration to opening a gym, just based on a conversation where he gets you to want to run through a brick wall where you're like, fuck it, I could do it. I can really make this work. And then,
But Peter, it is passion. Like, you know, for me, that's all it is. Like, and I'm not batting down any other gym locally here as well, but like, it's just passion from the very start. Like, people are coming in to change their life. People are putting, like, when I look at, and again, I'll annoy people, and even when you're in here in a class, some people do something. What are you at? Like, you know, they're annoyed, but they're trusting me with their money every month. That's all I need. Is like they're giving me part of their wages every single month. There's a trust there, and I have to have a passion for them to see that that's worth it. And that's kind of how I've always done it. Is like, and even going back to what I talked about with my mum, like the videography stuff and video and stuff. At the very, very start, like, Andy would have been better on social media than me. And my whole ethos from the very start was, I don't want to put anything on social media. I want to put the faith in, or my whole concentration of people coming through that door, because they'll put the stuff on social media for me. And for me, that always looks better than me putting up at how good I am. It's like, if they can do it, then it just looks a wee bit more authentic. Like, that's the way I look at it. But that, again, the way things are going now, it's all social media and stuff. But I think if I talked to Sousa, he would probably have a heart attack about the way I'm doing things here, like, to be honest. More than likely.
All right, listen, thanks for coming on. It's been great getting to talk to you. We usually only get to talk to each other for about 5 minutes. This is great. Great, nice long catch up. If anybody is ever visiting Limavady, you know where to go. And you can go to that CrossFit.
Will you put the subtitles on after, will you?
Say again?
Will you put the subtitles on after this, or will they just come on automatically?
Yeah. They'll auto-generate AI. If you go to CrossFit's YouTube, you can watch. I think it's called Small Town Gym Owner, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks, Michael. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks,
it's been
Peter.
great.
Appreciate it.
Good
Thanks
luck.
for having me.
Good luck with everything. You're a good guy.
Thank you very much. Cheers.